Hello everyone, welcome to Challenge to Build, and in today's review I figured I'd do something a little bit differently today. Specifically in this review, if you are watching this review, there is probably a good chance that you are in the market for a generator. I recently purchased this generator right here, the Westinghouse WGEN9500DF back in December. We are now almost in March, so it's been a couple of months. I originally posted kind of like a brief overview of this generator, of assembly, and then the basic initial startup process for this. And now that I have some hours on it, I figured I would kind of go over how I've been using this. If you are looking for a generator that you need in case of emergency, obviously if you lose power, possibly do some off-grid living, or just need a substantial power output for your job site, I can recommend this one being a great choice. This is the dual fuel, so it has the ability to run on propane and on gasoline. They give you all the necessary pieces to run it on propane with the regulator and hose attachment. I personally do not run it on propane as of right now. I had thought about plumbing in possibly like a 100-pound propane tank. But I haven't gotten to that part yet. Like I said, I've only owned it a few months, so right now I just currently run it on gasoline. It has the ability to produce 12,500 peak watts on gasoline and 11,200 on propane. You can see it down here. So it's 9,500 running watts and 12,500 peak watts on gasoline, 8,500 watts and 11,200 peak watts on propane. The really cool feature that I love about this generator is the remote start. I will show you that in just a second. You can see here I have my NEMA 14-50R plug. This is a 50-foot cord from GeepKey, along with the switch, not necessarily switch, but plug for the extension cord. Again, we'll follow this and I'll show you exactly how I use this generator. I kind of built this cool little cubby shed for it to kind of protect it from the elements, since it just stays outside. I also have a extension cord running from my shed that supplies a constant battery charge on this. So this way here, the 12-volt electric start battery always is ready to rock and roll. I actually use this to supply power to my shop for the bigger equipment. I have a 28 by 32 foot pole barn here that you see behind me, and it's relatively new to me, and unfortunately I don't have a main power supply out here yet. You can see there's the other end of the 50-foot cord with the power receptacle, and what we'll do is we'll continue following that through in the garage. So what I ended up doing, since I don't have a service out here in the shop yet, I decided to get a generator. One, because we lose power quite often, so if we lose power I can use it as a backup generator for the house, and I can use it as the power supply for my bigger equipment. And when I say bigger equipment, I mean the air compressor, I have my plasma cutter, my welder, and my mill. I have the air compressor. I have all of those pieces of equipment set up to run 220 volts, so it kind of lowers the amperage. The air compressor runs, I think, like 8 amps on 220 volt. My plasma cutter actually is the biggest piece of equipment. That will max out the generator at 50 amps. So I have to be careful when I'm using the plasma cutter along with the air compressor. I can do it, but I just have to be careful how thick of material I'm cutting. The mill is another 10 amps at 220 volt, and then my welder runs 30 amps. So with that generator, it produces enough power to supply what I need for the work that I do. And then here is the other end of where that power comes in at. I have my panel set up to to 50 amps. This is the 50 amp main breaker right here for the generator. And then I have my garage wired basically like I would for once the service comes in, it's ready to rock and roll. So I have my main panel, everything running conduit, then I have all my receptacles to where I need to. So all I need to do is when I am ready to use my bigger equipment, I just have to hit this fancy little remote, which is the best part of this generator. So right here is the remote starter. And when I am ready to get involved in any of my fabrication, I simply just hit the remote. Now you can hear the generator kick on, going to run, and what we will probably hear is once it starts creating power, we're going to hear the air compressor kick on. I'm going to take a wager if that happens. There it goes. So now the generator is producing power. And I can even come over here and show you that while the air compressor is running, I can turn on my mill. Now the mill and the air compressor are being powered by that generator. I have my extension cord for my welder here and my plasma cutter, but everything other than the lights. So the lights are powered by a single 20 amp line from the house, and then all of my bigger equipment is powered by the generator. And I forgot to show you, but that generator was cold. I meant to show you the exhaust to prove that it was cold. But that was a cold start on the generator. And you can see the green button, the green LED button here on the power, meaning I got power to this plug. We'll take a walk back to the generator. I have it in this little cubby. I have this cubby insulated, and then I have welding blankets around it to help with fireproofing it, to keep everything safe. And this way here, it's not as loud for the surrounding neighbors, trying to keep it a little conscious to them, so that you run this quite a bit. And you can just hear the RPMs change just a little bit. That's the air compressor shutting off. I have, oops, shut the steam breaker off. I have about 15 hours of runtime on this generator, and I haven't experienced any issues with it yet. Like I said, I primarily run it on gasoline, but you have your battery switch here, your start and stop button, and then your main breaker on here, so you can shut the power off here as well. And then each outlet, you have two 20 amp outlets, a 30 amp, and then your 50 amp. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down while we're out here. You got your fuel selector here for gas or propane, and from reading the instructions, I believe you can switch it while it's running either or. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down now. There we go. And so yeah, a little bit different review for the generator. If you are in the market for one, I can highly recommend the Westinghouse WGEN9500DF. The DF is the dual fuel, so again, propane or gasoline. And I can honestly tell you that this has been a great generator, and I definitely put it through its paces as far as how I use it and the power that it produces. And if you are in need of some serious power for your equipment or off-grid living, or simply just emergency power, that generator also has the ability to have a smart switch, I believe. sold separately, which when the power shuts off, it should kick on the generator automatically. Like I said, the extension cord and power outlet inlet box was from GeepKey. And hopefully that answers some of your questions on the generator. Thank you for watching. Get out there, go challenge your build. Be safe, and I will see you in an upcoming video and/or review. Have a good one.